Hey guys, I'm Jack, and I've been using Lovable for, well, probably the past 6 months, but I've been really getting into it the last couple of months. I've built this app called Dream Tracker. The idea is that you log in, you upload evidence of whatever thing you're trying to get done. So, for example, I'm trying to lose weight. My dream is to have a rig like Brad Pitt, who's like 60 and has this insane rig. Anyway, what you need to do is you need to upload evidence that you have actually taken action to achieve your goal, and then over time, you'll basically see these rack up. How the hell did I build this? I built it using Lovable, but it was an insanely frustrating process at times, simply because I didn't know enough about what I was doing in order to do what I wanted to do. So here's 11 Lovable lessons. Learn loving Lovable on how not to build an app, and hopefully how you can avoid the same mistakes I did. So, who am I? I do Webflow and Spline. I do like website stuff, and I got really into Lovable because doing agency work, freelancing, all the other stuff I've tried has basically left me broke and frustrated and or anxious. So I ended up with Lovable. Now, here's the lessons. 1, if you are particular about the design, do not start with prompting. A lot of people will go to Lovable, right, and they'll be like, here's my idea. I want to create an app for my fish. And it's like, if you are prototyping, if you're like trying to work out what an app might even look like, then obviously typing something in that's super broad is going to give you a load of ideas really, really quickly, and that's great. Fine. In my experience, though, you've got an idea in your head, and you actually have quite a clear idea of what you want to make. And then when you type it into Lovable, it comes out and it's like, oh, that's not what I had in my head. And it's not necessarily worse, it's just not what you thought. So what I recommend doing is actually going to a tool called Rayloom, which is here. And you can actually type your prompt in here, type the idea that you have, and it will give you wireframes. And it is mad effective. It will give you wireframes, it will give you copy, and from there, you'll be able to actually create something that is pretty damn solid, okay? You can change the copy, you can change all of that stuff. It's super easy to use. Then you can export this to Figma, okay? Now from Figma, there's this app called Builder.io. It's a free plugin, okay? So you take your design, beautiful, in Rayloom. You export it to Figma. You do some last tweaks. Now from Rayloom, you've got something that's fully responsive. It's got, desktop, mobile, whatever, it's good. Then link that to Lovable using Builder.io, which is a free plugin, like I say. That will link to Lovable. It will build out your design and create a working prototype with some prompting. But it's wildly good. So if you're, like I say, if you're really like, oh, I don't really know, like, build me a cool betting prototype. Okay, super broad. It's going to build you whatever. But like I say, if you've got a clearer idea about what you want this to look like and how it's going to work, then I would recommend thinking a little bit more about the design and going to Rayloom, Figma. Yes, it's longer, but trust me, it will save you so much time in the long run, because trying to edit stuff in Lovable visually isn't as easy as Figma, I would say. Don't prompt loosely. Oh my God. If you prompt with something super broad, you're going to get something back super broad. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, like I say, but I would recommend using something like ChatGPT and actually figuring out what your prompt is quite specifically. When I say specific, I'm saying not just what the idea is, but also what the visuals are. So, who is this for? This needs to appeal to Gen Z. I'm thinking that this could be like using, I don't know, a minimalist aesthetic. Think Notion, whatever, right? But you can screenshot different apps, different websites you like, and put those into the prompt at the same time, which will give you a way better output from the get-go. And getting a good output from the get-go is really helpful to get this Lovable project going well. Where do you even find visual inspo? Well, there's a really interesting website called Godly. You can look at all sorts of different projects. Let me go back to the main site. You can look at mobile apps, e-commerce, desktop apps. It's wildly good. What's cool is you can actually see the visuals of like the scroll as well. So yeah, it's just really, really powerful. Recommend checking out Godly. Here's some other ones though. Newsy, SciInspire, Morbin, cool. You know these sites, like there's bajillions out there. UI libraries. You might not know about this. This is really helpful. You can actually just copy and paste components straight into your project. So this is a really cool one. Any of these types of things. Let's say you've got a project like this. You've got this chart UI. And you're like, yeah, cool, but I want to change it to, I don't know, something else, right? Then we can go to charts up here. We can see all the different chart types that are on here. I've got a kind of blocky one right now. Maybe I want a chart that's interactive. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so I can go view code, or I can literally just copy the code and then go to Lovable. And then inside my project, I can just paste in that code and explain where I want this to be on my page. Super powerful, okay? Again, you could just screenshot this as well. Like, you could just get this and be like, I want a chart like this. Here's the page where I've got the code. You know, here's how I want it to look, etc., etc. But chat feature. Okay, you don't need to make change every single time you type. You can actually go into Lovable, and there's this feature called chat. So you can see as I hover over it, did you see that? Chat without making edits to your project. So it's kind of like an assistant, you know, talk it out. You don't need to make changes every single time. You might be like, hey, if I link this up to resend, like, do I need to, you know, I don't know, do I need to publish this before it works because it doesn't seem to be working, or whatever it is, you know? So you can do that really quickly and effectively using that. Restart if the first output is bad. Just restart. Just go back to this screen, the actual dashboard, and then just type out your prompt again, tweaking some things. You know, you don't need to go through this whole process and be like, oh, change this. Where if it's like too wrong from the get-go, go back. Just rethink about your prompt. Maybe it will be better if you tweak some things. Also, there is you can actually like restart or like say you've gone through a process of loads and loads of prompts and you've like completely messed it up, right? What you can do is you can go back to, okay, so for example here, I was actually trying to change all the text across the site. You see it says restore here. That will, all of this stuff that I've done will change back to how it was before. So it's basically saved copies of your site, which means that you don't need to be like, oh my God, I've changed so much stuff today and it's all messed up. Just go back. Just reload a previous version of the site. Edit tool for simple changes. Oh man, no. If I knew about this earlier, damn it. Okay, look at this. Click to edit. So instead of being like, hey, on the hero header in the paragraph, can you change receive daily reminders to receive weekly reminders? And you got to type all that out. You can just go into here and change stuff. So you just click edit, you change weekly, and it will just change. Okay, that's all you need to do. It's so much simpler than being like okay, I'm going to just change everything, Okay, cool. That's that. Make one feature work well before adding any more. This one, I basically went ham on the features. Look at this. I had Bet on Yourself feature. I had Dream Buddies. I had a vision board. I had all this stuff. And a lot of them didn't work properly or quite how I wanted them to, because I just was like, oh yeah, what about this idea? And Lovable's like, yeah, I can add that. But, I mean, how does this work? And it's kind of like, I don't really know how it's working. Lovable is just trying to do its best to make whatever I've made just off the cuff. Like, oh, can you add this like massive feature? And it's like, just get one feature working at like before adding more is my advice, because when you say, for example, in this case, I've got this analytics dashboard, right? Which is highly reliant on this working. Like, I'm adding evidence that I'm taking action towards my goals. I upload at 9 a.m. Another time I upload in the evening. Well, look, upload time analysis. This isn't working because I didn't think about adding that into here. Like the time you upload isn't being tracked here. So this section is not working because that's not even part of the plan here. And I didn't really think this through. So there's like, if you add, imagine, that's a small example. Imagine doing that over the course of like a whole app. Like, oh, just add this. Oh, do this. Oh, do this. Oh, I haven't thought about this. Boom, you've got like 10 features that are just not working. And that's on you, not Lovable. So, just have a little think about that. Maybe just get one feature working, top notch, and then add stuff on top. Because all of the fields are needing to be tracked in Supabase and, yada yada. Revert button. I've actually talked about this already. Use the restore button a lot. It's your friend. If you're trying to change something specific, it's quite helpful to know how Lovable is calling stuff. So you can name, oh, interesting. Like, I want to change this section of the front end of the website. So this is the front end of the website. And I'm like, this bento box section I want to change. And you can just say like, hey, what are you calling this? What are you calling this section? Because I don't really understand. I'm trying to change this and it's not quite working. So you can just say, okay, what are the classes of all the H2s? This. Okay, cool. I want to change each class name of, H2 large to be the color blue in this exact hex code. That's way better than being like, a screenshot of like part of the website that may or may not be relevant. Like, you can actually just directly target the classes. You can actually see the code as well in here. If you click here, you can go in and find this stuff out. But if you're not comfortable with code, then obviously you could just ask Lovable. Compress your images. Okay, your site speed is going to be absolutely pants, even using Lovable, if you haven't got the size of images and videos and whatever other assets you're using down. So just compress them. Go to free convert, compress them. It's free. It's literally free convert. Just go compress them. It's so much quicker. SEO, you can actually massively improve your SEO score by whacking in, give me the best SEO practices. I actually copied and pasted Google's SEO practices document, and I was like, hey, are we doing all of this stuff? Like, can you just go through and check all of this? And what that means is that when you go to, say, Google Lightspeed, so you can actually check the score of a website by using this free extension called Google Lighthouse. So if I go to dreamtracker.co.uk, and then what I can do is click on my extension and then go to Lighthouse, you can actually generate a report for your website. And you can get really good scores, which obviously mean that Google is going to like your website more because you have a website that loads in under 3 seconds. It's accessible. It's good. Okay, finally, if you are still here, maybe you're interested in this stuff. I think that getting into Lovable now is great. I think it's so early in the process where soon people like me who are doing web stuff, creating designs and trying to develop things, are going to be... It's not that they're going to be less important, but the bottom 50% of web designers and web developers, I think, are going to be in trouble because, frankly, I think Lovable is better than the bottom 50% of those people. And we're so early in the process as well, so I can only imagine this is going to get better and better. So what does that mean for people like web designers, web developers? I would say that they're going to be taste makers, creative directors, technical doers. I think they need to be good at what they do in order to get paid to do what they have done. And they're also going to need to have more of a vision and guide AI tools rather than do the heavy lifting themselves. And so making stuff like Lovable apps, I think, is exciting because the barrier to entry is lower than ever before to make apps to solve problems. While I think there are just as many problems as there ever have been, if not more. And that means that I think it's a really exciting opportunity to go make stuff. So my plea to you is go make stuff with Lovable. Go make things that help people live their life a tiny bit easier. And also from a careers perspective, I think it's pretty smart. So yeah, hope that helps. Let me know if you have any comments below. Cheers.